living life in opposition. What do they want to say about that? Yeah, Five of Wands, literal opposition. Ten of Swords, okay, extreme levels of pain and suffering. We have Venus in Virgo here with the Nine of Pentacles. Interesting because Venus is currently in Virgo in tropical astrology. So that's a current transit we're experiencing. We have resource hoarding here. Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. So this Venus in Virgo, and then we got healing at the bottom of the deck in the form of the Star card and then the Hierophant, right? So this is talking about when it comes to resource hoarding, we have the King of Wands with the Ten of Pentacles. So this fiery energy coming up is like, I'm not going to allow you access. And in this card, I love this Ten of Pentacles, one of my favorite Ten of Pentacles illustrations with the horned cow hair. And I love that because of what cows represent in many ancient religions and spiritually speaking. And cows also connection to Mother God. And the energy of the King of Wands being like, I'm going to prevent you from the abundance, right? From even the land. I'm going to restrict. I'm going to make beaches private. I'm going to privatize water. I'm going to make housing inaccessible. Like all of this energy of like gatekeeping. And with the Emperor card here, like conquering, it's interesting. When I was in the park today, I saw, I really don't like to see it. Whenever I clock a statue when I'm abroad, I'm like, I know that's a colonizer. And I went over there, read the statue, and yeah, there was a statue of a colonizer. It was really beautiful, but I'm like, I hate this energy. I hate what it does in terms of like gridding the energy for us to erect colonizers like that over the space. But this is what it is, right? The Emperor, like colonizing London resources. But what they're saying is, with the Venus in Virgo card, is that opposition and fighting the emperor is actually not our way in. We can't break into the barn, so to speak, and recapture what has been lost. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not, like if like a city's under siege, we're not climbing the walls of capitalism, going over the edge and being like, give me my things, which is what we've been attempting to do. Decolonizing universities, like, do you know what? Everything that we're doing, we're like, come on, we're trying to get capitalism to get along with us. We're trying to get kind of like imperialist, like hegemonic warmongering philosophy to agree with us and to partner with us. And they're saying, no, you need to find your way out of that with the Three of Wands. And then the Four of Wands, you need to kind of rebuild from a more heart-centered space in your relationship with your own resources and your relationship with the land itself. So what do we mean? A little bit abstract. So let's get a bit more specific with that. Something I wrote in one of my newsletters where I was talking about the Capricorn, the second Capricorn full moon we had, and I was talking about collective resources, right? This concept of like the collective storehouse in our relationships with each other. And I said that Taurus, out of the three earth signs, Taurus represents the creation of value, right? Capricorn tends to be the administrator of the value, understanding like what's needed when and where a resource is required. And Virgo is the one that is making sure that like there is application of our resources and there is longevity. We've got enough of what we need over a period of time. But Taurus is the one that's going to go do the work to get the resources, to create it. Taurus represented symbolically by the cow. The example I gave is cow producing milk. Milk creates dairy products. That is a whole new value outside of the body of the specific cow. Something has been generated. We can think about jewelry being made from gold, for example, value increased. So this is what Venus and Virgo is saying. You don't need to go and fight capitalism for things. You have the creativity in you to develop value out of your mind, out of your dreams, out of your relationships. Like you are the value adding thing. Capitalism is taking your value. That's what it's doing, it's taking what you create. So you don't need to keep saying, here's what I've created, I'm giving it to you, and then go and knock on the door and say, can I have it back? It doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not saying this in terms of being self-employed versus employed. That's not the way that I mean it in. It's talking about not fighting, like not being in opposition against everything. Let's see if I can get them to help articulate that more clearly. What does it mean for us to create our value? They're telling me ownership. Ownership is the word that they're giving. Interesting. And now we've got the card science. Okay, yeah, so it was really interesting. We got 6-6, and then we've got the Empress, which is representing the creative energy, and we've got the works card, and then we got the activist, literally. So they're really saying this. This is quite specific. Some of you have creative ideas and ventures that you're trying to sell off. Don't do it. You are the source of your creations, and you are trying to negotiate deals, or you're giving away the things that you're creating prematurely. You're not seeing it through, you're selling it off, and you're not getting to see the rewards, the fruits, the value of what it is that you make. Even if you want to trade, right? Even if you want to give your gifts in the marketplace, you don't have ownership of it. And I'll say this actually as someone who published a book in the very traditional like book publishing industry, and that is not something that for me was very financially rewarding, even though it's something that was an absolute labor of love for me. And I do believe that it was part of my purpose to create that work. It was within the system, it's within the same exploitative system as all the arts, the music business, the film business, the publishing industry, like whatever you want to call it, all of them are leeches of creators, every single one of them. And so what Spirit is saying is, for the creations that you have, for the things that you are doing, you've really got to stop selling things off and not having ownership over what is yours. You've got to not do that. You've got to find ways to independently create, see your creations through, exchange your creations with each other, and also not even sell your creations. You need to be the person that these places, companies, institutions are leasing from or coming to and saying, I recognize you as the creator. How can I participate in what it is that you're giving and you're sharing? But you're not selling off your creations because you need money for us. That's one of the main things in terms of not living in opposition. It's the first message here. Protect your creations, protect your intellectual property, and stop selling off your dreams. The other thing that they're saying with regards to not living in opposition is invest in your healing. Because, yeah, the state of opposition is also one that is very wounding. People talking about a certain kind of R&B singer at the moment. He was in the activist space, and a lot of what's coming out, lots of questionable things about her behavior in relationships, etc. And the thing about it is, I won't comment on that particular situation, but I remember when I was doing my MA in social protest movements, MA race and resistance, so basically Black studies. And every time every brilliant like thinker, activist, philosopher, and if I looked at their personal relationships, absolutely terrible, terrible people, abusive, out of order, just like, yo, you, the words 10 out of 10, the living 0 out of 10, 0 out of 10 living. So Spirit is saying you can't afford to be that. You can't afford to be the activist, the person that's living in opposition, because the relationship of opposition is with a system that's going to abuse you. You're going to be in an abusive relationship with the things that you are opposing. And then you are going to show up in the world as a person who is traumatized and reproducing abuse. So they're like, no, you can't be fighting systems. You need to take the time, the necessary time, even the time out to deal with that 10 of Swords experience, to deal with the deep, deep, deep-rooted traumas that are actually really impacting the way that you're showing up. And for you, many of you, it's different kinds of trauma. It can be financial trauma. We're talking about mental health issues here. There's so many different layers of things that are, for you, have got you out of your body or struggling with the day-to-day levels of life. is that the place in the position to go and fight someone and something from? It's not. It's not. The fight you need to be having is the fight for yourself, your recovery. You need to fight for your recovery. And then there's one last message they want to give. Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. I love that. So they're saying that from the position of being in opposition, and particularly the energy of activists, there is this kind of energy of like endurance. This is what this card is. This belief system that things are bad, that things are difficult, have been difficult for a long time, and we have to deal with that.